Hey everyone, Simply Logical here. Welcome back to the channel. Either way, thank you for joining me today for a brand new adventure in Prehistoric Kingdom. For those of you who've been around for a while, know that I've only ever posted Planet Zoo content. Well, not anymore. Today we're starting a park in Prehistoric Kingdom, and I've always wanted to expand our horizons in video games. I've just never found a game that I've wanted to play on the channel. That was until I came across Prehistoric Kingdom videos. After watching a handful of videos, I realized the concepts of Planet Zoo and Prehistoric Kingdom are very similar, and I figured why not give it a try. So for this video, we are building the entrance, and really quickly, I do want to apologize for any jumpy or chaotic camera movements. Seeing as this is a new game for me, it means new controls, and seeing as I am brand new to this game, I have to learn these controls while recording, which can mean some kind of messy and jumpy video movements, and I am sorry for that. But enough about that, let's move on to what we're currently working on. So as you can see, I am working on the entrance plaza area. You can see all the concrete and everything that I have laid out, and that's just for my brain to know where everything's going. You can see the brick is where I'm going to have a building, and then the stone is where I'm going to have an aviary that you'll see in later in this video, but we build it in the second episode. But currently you can see I'm working on this sunshade sort of structure. I wanted to build a modern stylized park, and I didn't want to go ultra modern like in TVEP. I wanted it to just be modern, and so that means lots of metal, lots of wood. And so I found this photo of this shade structure that I think it was like a carport cover, but I decided to make it a shade structure for guests to walk under as they enter the zoo, as they enter the park. I'm still getting used to between Planet Zoo and Prehistoric Kingdom. It's very similar games, but very different. In one, you take care of dinos. The other one, you take care of living animals. Anyways, so you can see here, I made this corrugated sort of metal texture with these metal beams. And this game so far is amazing in the fact that you can scale items. So you can take this really large item and make it really, really tiny and skinny, which one helps your piece count, and two, it's just convenient. Now you can see I'm currently struggling with the controls. Like I previously stated, this is a new game, so it means all new controls, and as I was trying to do this, I was trying to figure out how to multi-select different things, and I struggled for, I'd say, a good 5-10 minutes on trying to select multiple things. But the one thing that I haven't been able to figure out is how to multi-select different groups. But I just recently figured that out at the end of next episode's video. So I did figure it out. It just took me, I think I have 20 hours in game so far, and it took me 20 hours to figure that out, but I figured it out and we're all good. So for anybody who's new to Prehistoric Kingdom and doesn't know how to multi-select different groups, I believe it's you hold shift and the left mouse button, I believe, is how you multi-select. But anyways, you can see here I'm again working on this shade structure. I do add in this light that I scale down and then copy it and to act as a tether for the thin cable that I have holding up the entire structure itself. And then I believe I use a marquee, or not a marquee beam, a metal girder base piece that I scale down. I was gonna use this O, I think is what it is. I can't remember, but I end up using this piece and I scale it down and then flip it and then shrink it. So I make it like really thin, and to hold the cable to the actual structure itself. And just that alone, being able to scale, is crazy, because if you know Planet Zoo, which most of you probably do, you cannot scale. And that is the one thing that I'm so happy with this game has, is a scaling feature to where you can, I mean, I can't stop talking about it. I love the scaling feature. But anyways, we're now working on the actual entrance plaza area, where this building right here is going to be a bathroom, and then we will have these ticket booths. And I take this prefab sort of thing and I delete all of the benches and everything out from under it, because I wanted to use the shade structure itself. I couldn't for the life of me figure out what pieces this was, and so, or find them in the search bar, so I just took it and I used it. I found them eventually, but by the time I found them, I already had this place, so I figured why not just leave it. And then here you can see I'm scaling that, and just to make it fit over this specific little ticket collector area. And then here I wanted to have I guess you could say a divider sort of thing between this building and the entrance, so that way from outside the zoo you couldn't see inside. And so we have, if you know the conservation wall slats that we have in Planet Zoo, we have something very similar to that in this game. And so I end up using that as the divider. And then I believe right here is where I go when I find it. Yes, so you can see where I have this divider and I just copy it. Or not copy it, I place it down and then move it to fit. And I had those metal, I do have to go and adjust this a couple of times, off camera obviously, to make it fit exactly where I wanted it. And that's one thing that I do want to note about this game is, I don't know if it's just me, but the colors in this game are very weird. I don't know if it's just the textures of these pieces or the undertones that these pieces have, but changing the colors of things in this game is a little bit hard for me, to where in Planet Zoo, I think Planet Zoo just makes colors more vibrant. I don't know if it's the filter that I have on my game in Planet Zoo or what, but something about it, the colors are just very weird for me in this game. But anyways, I'm getting used to them. Again, it's still very new for me. But here I wanted to try my hand at building a actual ticket booth. So this is where the guests would come in, buy their tickets, and then they would take them to the ticket tellers, I think is what they're called, which are over to the left underneath that second shade structure. And so for this, I used these, I call them conservation wood pieces because that's what they resemble, is the conservation wood that we have in Planet Zoo. Obviously it's not that, but it's very similar. And then I use the opaque glass pieces as the window. And then I'm scaling this awning down to make it fit over this one specific window. And that's something else, is you can scale an entire group of things. So you see that whole thing was one group, and I scaled everything in that one group at the same time to make it bigger. And then there again, you saw me scale that entire group of 3 different ticket booths to make the entire thing bigger and fit along that wall and kind of fill up that space. But here you can see I'm now working on you could say a line for the, like a waiting line for where the guests would line up to get their tickets. I don't think we have actual ticket booths in the game, or like information stands that Like in Planet Zoo, we use the information stands as a ticket booth, but they don't have those in game. I think their information stands are like those ticket entrances is what I think they're called. And so it's all implied is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, here you can see we've made a pretty big jump. So I got tired of working on the entrance, so I went ahead and started working on the second episode, because at first I was thinking that I was going to have the first episode include the next week's build, but the video is going to be 30 minutes long, and I didn't want to. I usually try to stick between 15 and 20-ish minutes are my videos. So I decided against that. So we have a pretty big jump where you can see the plaza's kind of done and everything, but I think you'll see all of that in next week's video. And if not, then I do apologize. But here I'm working on the gift shop. I wanted the gift shop to be an extension of the ticket booth building. And so I just copied the same wall that I had and then make the gift shop building and add flooring, add roofing and everything. And then here you can see I've gone around the actual original buildings and added this trim. So I'm doing that with this building as well as adding this trim on just to continue that cohesiveness. And you can see here where I'm talking about like the colors are a little bit off. I do change those eventually, but yeah, coloring in this game is very I won't say confusing. I think the colors just look off to me, and again, it could just be me, but it's definitely a little weird, but I'm getting used to it. And then here you can see where I'm placing the actual shop item, and I was going to use the big like full gift shop, but I tried to place it 2 or 3 different times and it never could connect to the pathing or whatever. It always gave me that error to where the staff or guest couldn't get to it. So I just used these. And that's another thing that I completely forgot about until just now, is that you don't need paths for the guests to be able to maneuver through your park. In this game anyways. Like, the only path that I have in this entrance is the main center path that you see. It's like the hexagonal path that comes straight out of the ticket booth area. This pathing right here is just I think it's a flooring, because the guests can traverse the modular pieces. So anything in this modular tab, under the modular piece tab, the guest can be able to use it to traverse or walk on. I don't know if it's everything, but I think most things, they at least consider it in how their hitboxes and stuff work. But anyways, here I'm covering up. You saw me build the doors, and then here you can see me trying to cover up the rest of the entrance. And this alone took me a good couple minutes, because again, scaling in this game is such a game changer for me, because in Planet Zoo, that's such a big restriction that we have. In this game, I'm free to kind of do whatever. So it took me 2 or 3 different tries to get that scaled right. But anyways, now we're taking a step back and we are working on this big centerpiece. So for this park, I wanted this big centerpiece right as you come in. I believe I placed the mammoth. Yeah, and that's something else, is that the mammoths and any statue except for the wooden the wood and the metal ones. The first 3 statues that you can see, I believe it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a Parasaurolophus or an animal or a dinosaur similar to that, and then a mammoth, all have different textures and different styles of how they sit. So I think I went with the second or the third style for the mammoth. And I'm placing rocks to make him look as if he's structurally sound and everything. And I kind of struggled with how I wanted him positioned, but I do turn him to face us here in just a second though. And I do off camera add more foliage around the edges and everything, which again, you'll see all of that in cinematics. But here in a second, once I get all these rocks placed, we should be able to see the foliage and the cinematics and everything. But so far I'm in love with this game. I love the scaling. I love the different textures of everything. It's very easy to build in. The controls are still very new for me. So control and camera movement wise is still kind of difficult, but I'm getting there. But really quickly, before we get to the foliage and everything, I do want to announce the name of this park. So this park is going to be named Pangea Wildlife Park. I didn't know what name I wanted. I went to ChatGPT and I said, give me names for a park in the game Prehistoric Kingdom. And it gave me all these lists of names. It gave me the word Pangea. I'm like, I like that. And then it gave me the word Pangea Park. I'm like, that's a little... I think Simply Savannah has a Pangea Park. And I'm like, I don't want a controversy with her. So I added the word wildlife in there, and that's how that came about. But anyways, I'm going to recolor this really quickly to a tannish, recolor the rocks, I think I go back on it though. And then we will get into the foliage. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave y'all there. I will talk to y'all on the next one. I hope y'all leave a like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.